is Randy Helten, and I am here to support the motion impacts of $1 billion on building permits, on city costs and community plans. This is very important information regarding the revenues and costs of development for the city, growth targets, and important data for community planning processes. It's essential information for civic finances, then also information that will affect the livability, housing affordability, and the taxes of our city. I think it's very good to get this information out there for the council and for the public. I speak based on active involvement in my own community in the West End and also citywide. For example, on March 28th, under the community planning process in the West End, the group I was with, West End Neighbours organized a forum on the West End community planning process, attended by about 30 people, and we discussed many issues about the community plan process. I also am an active member of the Neighborhood Champions Network, which is providing input to the city process. Also, I was involved in a town hall meeting on June 4th this year, attended by about 150 people in the West End, where we also discussed the community planning, urban planning issues in the West End. Also, through my other work, I'm very much involved in contacts with networks and groups and individuals all over the city, and have been doing this for about the last 3 years. I feel that, and I think a lot of councillors here have said before, that the City of Vancouver works on fact-based decision-making, and I think it's important to get this information out there about the development, the costs of development, the revenues from development, and also growth targets. Also very aware that the Metro Vancouver has passed the bylaw, the 2040 Regional Growth Strategy, and in fact, the city has only 10 more months to adopt a regional contact statement, which is a very detailed plan for development for the City of Vancouver. There have been motions in the past, including the density in Vancouver motion in February 2011, and also another one on current zone capacity for housing in Vancouver, February 14th this year. Staff have been asked to come up with a lot of information regarding growth and capacity for growth in the city. And I think that they must have accomplished quite a lot now because they've had many months to do so. I understand from talking to the West End planner that the timing of release of some of this information has been pushed back by several months, but that it should be reported to the council sometime this month, next month, regarding the zone capacity. In my mind, a lot of these things are related regarding development cost levies, the community contributions, and the costs of development to the city, as well as the growth targets that we are aiming for. I noticed in the text of the motion, and this goes back to the regional growth strategy, that there's projected to be about 50,000 more people in Vancouver every 10 years until 2041. That works out to about 5,000 people per year. That's, according to this plan, the regional growth strategy, expected in Vancouver. How are we doing on that path in increasing the population? I also note that the report last year in this motion here, the text is saying that the report to council on the annual report on development cost levies said that development is not fully covering the cost of development. The development cost levies are not fully covering the cost of development in the city. So I think a lot of people in the city would like to really see this information and encourage the council here to support this motion. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Helten. Councillor Carr has some questions for you.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chair. I was interested in a couple of things that you said in your statement. One is regarding the West End plan and the number of people who have come out to those meetings. At those meetings and in your group that's been involved in this planning process, I mean, what information does this motion provide that you think is critical for the planning, as in terms of your discussions and what you've heard people say within the planning process of the information they need?
In the West End community?
Yes, that's right.
Well, I think this goes back, to the no rezoning without a comprehensive plan petition signed by thousands. The whole idea is that there's many people we've spoken to who would like to have enough information to see the big picture. A lot of people can very positively accept change and development and welcome new construction, but would like to see the big picture. So I think from talking to a lot of people, we'd like to see, in our case, the West End, the population is 46,000. If the West End is expected to take another 5,000 people in the next X number of years, then the community should have a chance to see that in the future and then discuss what type of form, what type of density, type of buildings, heights of buildings would fit into that. And I think, in fact, the previous motions in council were to make that available, that kind of information available before the plan process begins. We're already almost ready to go into phase 2. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does, but it points to another question, which is in your involvement in that plan, have you had any indication or have there been discussions around how much growth, how many new people the West End is expected to accommodate?
Well, not in so much detail. I think whether it's 500 or 5,000, I actually, just on the back of an envelope, I guessed that under current zoning, the West End could already accommodate another 5,000 people. But people are really waiting for information, the basic data from the city, the experts who have the numbers, the current zoning, and so on.
And what about discussions in the West End? I've heard this elsewhere, discussions around things like, is the West End built out? I mean, are you hearing those how many more people can it reasonably be expected to take given current services? Are those discussions at the table or amongst the citizens that you are conferring with?
I think, yeah, in a lot of conversations we hear that, but not in written form. People are just wondering how the West End will look in the future. And I think there's general acceptance that it could be thousands more people, many thousands more could live in the West End, but it has to come with other improvements in the library, the other facilities, the school capacity, and so on, the park space. People would like to see the big picture so that there's certainty and confidence that all of the important needs are being considered.
And one final question. You mentioned current zoning capacity. We've been trying to get that information, I think, since February. And so you've had indications that it'll come next month?
Well, the planner contacted for the West End, last I heard was that it will actually not be made public, but it'll be reported to council in a private meeting, but not in a formal report. So I do hope that it'll be made public.
I believe that the original motion was to have it supplied to people involved in the planning processes and for planning processes.
Absolutely, and not only the West End, but Grandview Woodland, Markville, and downtown East Side need the information for their communities to really have an honest and serious discussion.
Okay, thank you very much.